Hey, what's up, y'all?
I don't know why it doesn't do the end part of there.
I don't know.
If you just listen to it, it works fine.
It's so wacky, bro. Well, welcome to the God Guns and Family podcast. We're excited that you guys are hanging out with us again. Just two
Yes.
weirdos talking about Jesus and awesome things as they come.
I'm
But
not a
yeah, dude,
weirdo.
I'm kind of a weirdo, but it's okay. I've accepted.
Yeah, we're both.
I've accepted.
Yeah, we're fairly goofy. Fairly goofy.
Yeah, we are. That's how we do, though.
So
How do you evade someone who's trying to steal your barbecue? Bob and Lee.
What, dude? It just started talking. What?
someone's trying to steal
What
your
is that?
barbecue.
That was
That's
the
hilarious.
bob and weave. How do you evade someone who's trying to steal your barbecue? Well, I don't know. But now I do. Kebab and weave.
Oh snap! That's random.
Dude, that was very weird. I don't know. I don't know. That was crazy. That was loud
Oh, boy.
too. Like it just started popping off in the corner of
Does that not usually work? Is that not usually on?
It's usually just chilling. That's like what my beautiful wife uses for like meetings with like the SO team.
Oh yeah.
So it's like just hangs out, but it doesn't talk randomly and tell me a joke. Unless that was my wife, and I'm gonna ask her about it because she can like control it on her phone.
Oh yeah, she probably did that.
She probably did. Freaking jerk. I'm excited about our topic today, bro.
Yeah, so I wanted to go over it just because it's something that we obviously talk about a lot.
Yep.
But kind of don't, I guess. So yeah, I don't know.
Safety, security, and protection. That's what we talk about, man. Especially in light of like all that's been going on in the last like 3 weeks or so, month. It's like you had Joel Osteen's church, the incident at Lakeview. Then you turn around and have the whole shooting at the Chiefs parade and all that kind of craziness. So it's a topic that needs to be talked about. And I think we should probably continue to talk about it a little more frequently than we do. Just because, hey, look around you. The world is different than it was 20 years ago. It was different than it was 7 years ago. But yeah, man, I'm excited about it, bro. We should talk about this more often. You look like so focused and like you're studying. That's a nice.
I was trying to figure out what just. I tried to my monitor up there so I could not be staring at the computer down here.
At the thing, bro. You're so fancy with your technology, bro.
No, it's just I try to like. It just makes it easier for me to pay attention to stuff.
I mean, I respect that. I have like crazy ADHD, so I have to like minimize distractions because then I'll like my train of thought will just vaporize and I'll be like the kebab and weave, like my brain's just off and running in a different direction, dude.
The kebab and weave.
That's so weird, bro. Oh man. But yeah, dude. So I think this topic is, obviously near and dear to our hearts. I would consider you much more professional than myself in as far as the level of training you have, and as far as firearms. Obviously, you more higher than me rank in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. You just been doing it more consistently, dude. So I kind of feel like I'm in the Blair Witch Project right now, dude. That was pretty cool. That movie scarred me as a kid, bro.
I'm trying to make it like not look like trash, but hold on.
Bro, I kind of like the angle you were at before, bro. It was very cinematic, you know what I mean?
With the one over to the right?
Yeah, dude.
Hold on. Where's this crap? There we go.
Here we go. There he is. There's my friend.
Ugh.
Oh yeah.
Tighten it on the back of the monitor. There we go.
There you go.
A little better.
That's what I got is right above, just kind of doing the little gator clippy guy on the monitor. Yeah.
I didn't know how to adjust it. There we go. That's fine. Okay.
There it is.
So I think it's just a little easier without the monitor up. Or maybe I can put it up on top of my monitor that's up here.
Ooh.
Let's try that.
Dude,
not-
that's the bro. You look 10 pounds lighter, bro.
Ah! But it's
There
like
it is.
in the top of my head. That's kind of dumb. Sorry.
Dude, we're gonna get this square, bro. Eventually, bro. I dig it.
Oh, jeez. There you go.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. So, I wanted to talk about it a little bit since it's something that we. Oh, great. This is crap.
Dude, before it was the cookie, and now it's yeah. There it is. Is he back? He's back.
Yeah, I'm just switching back and forth now.
There it is.
Annoying. Yeah. So, just because there's been a few things, and there was a. Let me find it, but there was a Christian school shooting thwarted in Ontario, California. And this was recently. This was 5 days ago.
Oh yeah,
So,
that's pretty recent.
So pretty recent, and I thought it was kind of an important thing to talk about. Not like that specific one, but just in general.
Yeah.
Because there's a few things that come up a lot, and someone had I'm pretty sure it was a troll, but they basically had said something on the Instagram page and was like, "Oh, I'm sure the Prince of Peace would love to have his name next to with guns talking about it on the something." And I'm like, dude. So what I responded with was
Yeah.
I can't remember exactly what it was, but
I bet it was great.
it's because I thought it was kind of silly. Like nobody they don't say anything, and then they said, imagine the Prince of Peace reading God, guns, and family. And I said, Luke 22:36, guns are today's swords.
Yep.
So, and we talk about it sometimes, but there are a few additional things that I thought we could talk about like a little bit more in depth, specifically because it's an ongoing thing. Let me make it a little brighter because it's kind of dark.
There you go. Illuminated your face.
And the thing froze again. Son of a gun.
Yeah, he was trying to troll hard, dude, but
excuse me.
It's all good, man.
Yeah, and I just like I'm not sure why anyone would say something like if they don't, and I think they just kind of are trying to make it something a little what do you call it? What's the term? Like
they're trying to like spark like I don't know, dissension, or like trying to make a mockery of like what we're doing. I don't know, man. That's weird.
Yeah. My goodness.
There he goes.
Dude. So yeah, so I thought it was like kind of a thing that we should definitely talk about, but also understand that there's a reason why church security is a thing.
Yep.
And it's not, I don't want to like just talk about church security specifically, but like in general, right? So,
yep.
Like I have it on here. I just like kind of thought about some notes. Like first thing is situational awareness, right?
Yep.
Not that one. I didn't want to do that. And just kind of being aware, not just at church, but in general, like being out and about and just kind of being able to kind of understand what the potentials are, like no matter where you're at, like if you're on a plane or I don't know, like whatever it is,
dude, grocery store, gas station. I mean, there is out to dinner, Like there,
Yeah.
you should be consciously making an assessment of your surroundings all the time, right? So I heard of something that was pretty interesting. Um, that if you go back and ask victims of violent crime directly before the incident in which they were the victim of, um, they every single one of them will say they immediately knew like that there was imminent danger, like their body alerted them to what was happening, and then all of a sudden it was too late. So situational awareness gives you the fractions of a second to be reactive to a potential threat or mitigate it entirely. So say if you're out, this has just happened to us recently. So my part of where I live now is kind of is more hood than it used to be a few years
Oh,
back
really?
with the new 202 that's come through. It's brought a lot of transients. It's brought a lot of just an uptick in crime, petty thefts, people's cars being broken into. So we were at the grocery store down the street from my house, and I had to run to the dollar store. So I pulled into the dollar store real quick to grab something, and on the way out, I noticed a transient dude that was obviously suffering from some sort of mental illness, like whether it was like a psychological break, I don't know what it was, schizophrenia, but dude had like a 12-inch chef's knife, like just waving it around. Okay. And what I
Really?
did was,
At Safeway?
dude, yeah, right next to Safeway, dude, like in between Safeway and the dollar store, just walking around with like a chef's stabby knife. And I noticed it and immediately rounded up the family, got in between the threat, and got into the vehicle as quickly as we could to mitigate the whole family being in the presence of danger or issue. So, being situationally aware, not often, it oftentimes is just doing what you need to do to protect your kids, your wife, your family, whoever you're with. Preemptively. So you notice something that kind of makes the hair on the back of your neck stand up, like, hey, this is out of whack. This feeling, which is the Holy Spirit, like nudging, hey, be aware of this person. Then I can take the appropriate means to get my family out of the line of danger or out of away from what is a perceived threat. And I'll always position myself between that and the threat and my family, threat and my kids, whatever the situation, however it breaks, whether I'm with all the kids at the grocery store or I'm with the whole family unit. A lot of times our code word for our kids is heads up, eyes up, which means
Yeah.
immediately whatever they're doing, they're right next to our side, holding our hand, and they're like immediately will kind of wedge them between Amanda and I. Just she's very in tune. Like women tend to be a little more intuitive than men do, just in general. So she'll like immediately she'll get that like predatory or that like instinctual, hey, this is not right. Did you see this? Yes, I saw it. Or no, where's it at? Okay, cool. Let's get away from it. Situational awareness buys you critical moments to make a decision on how you're going to act or react to a threat. Even if it's myself, right? I'm walking into a store, or I'm walking out of church. And a lot of times, like even with the church that we're going to now, it's in a YMCA. So like I'm consciously, and it's a long hallway. So even when I'm not on safety, I'm safety minded. I'm watching exits. I know what's happening in the hallway. I know where my kids are. I know where my wife is. Being aware of what's happening around me. A lot of people say that I have RDF, resting dick face, because like I just come off as not a jerk, but like I'm serious. Like in the moment, I'm watching, I'm assessing, I'm looking at hands, I'm watching waistbands, I'm looking at mannerisms, behavior. I'm like, all of those things are factored into being situationally aware. So if I can avoid something because I've been made aware of it prior to it being up like in front of my face, I'm going to make that decision. And all that comes down to is training your mind and your awareness to assess what's going on around you all the time. I'm sure you can add more to this whole talking.
Yeah. I thought that this was gonna like make it bigger, whoever was talking at the time, but apparently that's not what it does.
No, but that's cool though.
Yeah, whatever. What is going on? Anyways, yeah, so I definitely am not as on alert as much here as I was in Arizona.
Mhm.
It's definitely a lot different here, and
Yeah.
a lot of people kind of, I don't know, people just don't understand the difference in the different environments, but that's okay.
Yep.
Like, it's just the way that the world is. There's different areas that
Mhm.
are different, and um, like even like downtown here, there's like 3 homeless people. Like
Yeah.
it's pretty crazy, and not that they're all violent, but they can be, and a lot of times the reason that they're homeless is because of some sort of addiction or something like that, which can lead to violence based on X, Y, and Z factors. So it's definitely something to consider. um and it's minor things like going to the store at night, parking under a light, or parking as close to the store as possible,
Mhm.
or whatever it is, whether it's it's a female, you're a female, or you're a dude, or whatever it is. I mean, it's just minor things to consider. And and I always try to say too, like, a lot of people don't realize this, but well, people realize this, they just ignore it, I think. um but if you're a parent, like if you're a mom, like let's just say you're a mom and you have children, you should always have a gun.
Mhm. It's the
You should
equalizer.
always have a gun. You should always have a gun. And because knife is not going to really do much, pepper spray is not going to do anything. The tasers that people buy don't do anything. Um, and I know a lot of people are like, well, I don't want to shoot anybody. I don't think anybody really wants to shoot anybody. But the problem
No.
is that if you take like one of those tasers, like they're bricks, like they're a little brick, and they have like
Yep.
a little tiny little thingy on there, probably maybe an inch wide, and like it just makes a lot of noise, and like it doesn't feel good if someone tases you with it, but it's definitely not going to incapacitate you. The only
Yeah.
ones that really do that are the police issued ones, and you can't get those. Um, you can get similar ones, and I don't know how well they work. I don't know if they. I mean, even then, their accuracy in the deployment, I think, is like 50%.
Yeah.
So it depends on the clothing they're wearing. It depends on
Yes.
where you hit them. It depends on like all these different things. And if you don't hit them perfectly, it's not going to work. So it's just kind of important to understand, um, that if you're a woman and you have kids, you should definitely be carrying a gun all the
Yep.
time. Not in your purse. It should be on
All
your
the time,
body.
and especially like where. Yeah, oh my gosh, yeah. And I saw another clip this morning was it was I don't remember the dude's name, but it was on the Sean Ryan podcast, and he was talking about what would you say to a woman or someone who um, didn't want to carry with one in the chamber, and he said that's a dead man's gun,
Yeah.
and you should. I mean, with anyone, right? Like, carrying a firearm is obviously a responsibility, um, and it takes training, and it takes intentionality, and takes doing it enough to be comfortable with it. But yeah, it should be on body. It shouldn't be, oh, hold on, let me dig through my purse along with 60 receipts and my car keys and all the others. Like, it needs to be on body, and I'm very grateful that Amanda carries on body a lot of the time, especially when the kids are involved and we're outside. But I mean, even like if we're going into like a church service, like whatever, it's a big Sunday, and she'll ask me, "Hey, should I bring this?" I'm like, "Yes, you should wear it on body." Okay. Um, Before she kind of was hesitant until she realized um, the reality is, if something were to go down when I'm not around, it would be her sole responsibility for protecting the children. And
Mhm.
realizing that the gun is the greatest equalizer for a woman. It levels the playing field. terminal velocity of a projectile, doesn't care if you're male or female. It doesn't, like, it is going where it's going to go, and it's the greatest equalizer. For particularly the size difference between male and female. Men are stronger, physically are able to exert more energy, and the firearm levels the playing field. But she realized that if there was a choice between the aggressor going home alive and her going home alive, that she was going to do everything in her power to make sure that she was going home alive every single time. So it took taking her to the range. It took running some drills with her. It took, really showing her videos. And the biggest thing for her, honestly, and she's probably going to kill me for saying this, was she found out that you can still dress cute and carry a firearm. That was like the biggest deciding factor. She was like, oh, I don't have to wear these like big bulky clothes. I can still dress cute. Yeah, order me that holster. So it was like, that was the game changer. I had been talking to her about it months, and she found a random person on Instagram that like she can carry very cute, very discreetly in cute clothes. And that was the end of the game. She was ready to do it. So
this is Erin's holster for her.
Ooh,
43.
That's so pretty.
Yeah. And so this has got it's peonies, right? It's peonies.
Okay.
And on this side is it's called the Ulti Clip. And what it does is that it makes it so that you can
bites down, right?
It bites down on like yoga pants or
leggings or whatever.
If you wear jeans that aren't, they don't have a belt or something like that, and then it locks in. So this is one that's pretty legit for women, dudes too. Like if you're wearing shorts or something, it's a thing. I don't go anywhere with like basketball shorts on except to the gym, so that's not really relevant. But it's definitely it's useful. It's definitely a good thing to kind of consider.
You're gonna have to send me a picture of that so I can show the lady.
Yeah, Ulti Clip. So, and it goes in the same holes that the regular clips are in. And
that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome, man. I know that there's another company that makes a bigger version of that, and it's on the backing of it. It's designed for leggings. It's designed for like athletic attire for women. The clip side it's big. It's a bigger clip, same sort of thing where it bites down, but on the inside of the clip is a fabric, so it gives it more of a bite on the waistband of like leggings or yoga pants or whatever. So,
like it gives it more friction.
Yeah, more retention on the pant. I have to look up whatever. But like she was so excited because she's like, "Oh my god, I can get cactuses and I can make all the different hardware, different colors, and I can make it so pretty and cute." I'm like, "Oh yes,
Eclipse holsters is where Erin got hers.
That they're great. I just looked at them. They were running a promotion that was pretty awesome too, made specifically for your firearm. So you send them exactly what whether it's whatever Glock 43, Glock 19. Okay, I have the extended mag release. I have a muzzle, whatever you have on your weapon. You run a weapon light. You send all that information to Eclipse Holsters. They custom make it to your pistol, and then they send it to you. And the lead time's not very long at all. Do it,
right?
Because when you have a holster that's comfortable to carry, you're going to carry it more frequently. No, I see these people all the time that just get into shooting and they buy like the Blade Tech holster that every gun store has, and it's atrocious and it's a giant block and it stabs you, and they're just like, this is so uncomfortable, I'm not going to wear it, so I'll just leave it at home this time. So then I'll just leave it home today, and then today turns tomorrow, the next day, and before you know it, they're not carrying anything anymore because it's not comfortable to carry. You need to get a pistol that matches your grip, whatever it is. I carry Glock. It just is what it is. My wife carries an M&P. Like whatever feels better in your hand, go out to the range, rent a gun, rent them, shoot them, whatever feels comfortable in your hand. Get a pistol that's comfortable, that's easy to use, and a holster that's comfortable, and that'll set the tone for you carrying all the time, where it becomes part of who you are. Like when there's times like, in an airport, or if I'm going to like a courthouse, federal building where I can't have it on, I feel like I'm missing a part. Like I'm always like looking around, like where's this piece of me that's not here, and that just takes time getting used to wearing a firearm. in whatever position you want to carry it in, whether it's appendix, whether it's, at 3 o'clock or, 5, whatever, whatever position is comfortable for you, then I'd rather you have a pistol and never have to use it than need a pistol and not have it.
Yeah. Yeah, I
That's
agree.
what I'm talking about.
I agree. So now we're on here. Whoops.
Oh,
Didn't want to do that.
where'd he go?
Well, I didn't
Where
want
did
it to be all
All
monstrous.
big. Oh,
Here we go.
oh,
Oh man, this one.
yeah.
So
Training, shooting, and martial arts. Yes, sir.
So the training, so I broke this up into 3 different parts just because there's a few different things. So like training kind of covers everything, but I'm also talking about like training, like fitness training, working out, exercising, which kind of falls under martial arts a little bit sometimes too. But like, just like this is just for me. So if I'm, I'm working out usually 3, 4, 5 times a week. And then jujitsu is anywhere from 2 to 4 times a week, depending on the week and how broken I feel. And then I try to go shooting at least twice a month. And when I do shooting, I'm doing reloads. I'm not just standing there and just like shooting at a target. I'm drawing from concealment. I'm drawing and I'm shooting and moving and reloading and malfunctions and and all this kind of stuff that kind of is pertinent to normal practice, right? So
yeah,
I've gotten to the point where I'm able to shoot from concealment in less than a second and a half at a head at 7 yards. And it's not necessary, I don't think, because there's going to be, I just think that there's not as many instances where that's going to happen. The only thing I can really think of is like drawing and getting on target, right? So I think that's going to be a main thing, and shooting that fast isn't going to be as necessary, maybe.
Yeah.
But so like we had an example where this last on Sunday there wasn't like a thing. One of our guys who also does the AV, so we have like a raised booth, I guess you could call it, in the back of the sanctuary, and there's stairs that go up on both sides, and then there's like a partition, and then it's they do all the AV and stuff.
Yeah.
And he also is on the safety ministry, so he saw a dude that he hadn't seen before, and he saw that he was kind of just behaving a little weird. And the other guy, Matt, was on lead for that service, and so I kind of just went up onto the booth and I looked down and I saw that it was a guy I've seen him plenty of times before. So he's not new. So that concern kind of went away, but he was, pretty like overweight. And I was concerned that he was having like a cardiac issue because he was sweating and stuff like that. So at that point, I kind of was thinking, all right, so what's going to happen is medically, and this is part of the training thing, medical training. Doesn't have to be anything crazy, but understand like what happens and what it looks like and stuff like that.
Yep.
And so he was super sweaty. He kept wiping his brow. He was like, he's probably 3 something, and he had jean shorts on with boots and a hoodie, and then so where I was standing on the I don't even know, I guess it's a booth.
Yeah, it's a booth.
Where I was standing, I was probably maybe 5 yards away, if that. And it was I was at a downward angle. So if I needed to, worst case scenario, something happened and I needed to do something, I would have been able to get him with a headshot pretty quickly I probably wouldn't do a headshot, probably do like body shots that close.
Yeah.
And because there's people all around him. So so I don't know, but that's like things that I was thinking about while it was happening. Also, like maybe like, okay, this dude is probably going to have a medical thing anyways. So he ended up getting up and leaving, and I followed him out, and he like went into the bathroom real quick and then started walking out, and I followed him out. And then the other Matt, he went out to his truck, and Matt followed him out there and kind of was like, "Hey man," he's like, "just wanted to check on you, see, make sure you're doing okay." And he said, "No, I'm not." And so he's like, "I just need to get out of here." So we didn't know what was going on. And, we were talking on the radios and stuff like that, just kind of communicating. And when Matt walked up to his window, he didn't roll it down initially. He kind of was looking at him all crazy, like, whoa.
Yeah.
And Matt had told me to stay back. So when we walked out, I was right behind him. He's like, "Hey, just hang back a little bit." And I was like, "All right." I didn't think the dude was going to be anything dangerous. I just wanted to make sure that he wasn't going to have like a medical thing.
Yeah.
So anyways, he left, and we talked about it and stuff like that. And he's like, "Man, I probably shouldn't have asked you to wait." And I was like, "Well, I don't know if it's been that big of a deal," but so they kind of stayed out in the parking lot. And then, long story short, basically found out that the dude is having marital issues, and so he was there without his family, and he didn't even stay past worship. And so we didn't know we didn't know his name because he's not very like talkative or whatever. But
Yeah.
we pulled up security footage, showed it to one of our greeters who knew his name and basically knew everything with his story. And so we gave the information to Justin, and then I think he contacted him at some point this week. So just to check on him. So that's like kind of all that stuff coming into play, right? So we're understanding like the shooting aspect of it, understanding where your target's at, what's behind it, especially in that situation. And if anyone is watching this or listening to this, and you carry in your church, understand that there's more than likely a safety team there, and they are the ones who should be dealing with an emergency if it comes up. They likely have someone on staff that's medically trained. They have communication. They have all this stuff to communicate throughout the team and throughout the well, how would you say it? Not staff, throughout the staff, whoever, whatever the situation is going to be, someone's there or someone has some sort of training to kind of mitigate any situation until that higher echelon of help comes, whether it be law enforcement or ambulance or something like that. So just kind of keep that in mind.
Training is encompassing too, right? Like if you don't have medical training or first aid or stop the bleed or whatever, there's courses that are happening all over all the time. Like you just gotta look at a reputable course that's in your city and make it happen. We tend to get busy and put things off as not a priority because in our mind that's a far away thing. And I heard Mike Glover from Fieldcraft Survival talk about one time, and he's like, everywhere I go in my truck and on body is a tourniquet. And in the visor of my truck, he's like, I am 1,000 times more likely to use the tourniquet in my visor to stop the bleed of someone who's been in a car accident than I would be to use it on someone who was injured in some sort of gun exchange. And being aware of that too, right? Like,
I think he said he's more likely to use medical stuff than use his gun.
Yeah. But it's like that's the training is required, and especially like if listeners or whatever thinking about joining a safety team at a church of your place of worship, those are all things that'll be necessary for you to do also. But I mean, even down to your family unit, right? Like knowing how to like be able to help the people who mean the most to you. Take the training. You'll never know when you need it, whether it's someone in your household, you see something out like at dinner or whatever, like knowing first aid, CPR, stop the bleed, all those kind of things. Dude, the training is available. So, I need to do more of that as well, like personally, and it's just all that's necessary. And it all kind of goes hand in hand. So, right, like training on all regards will flow right into being better equipped to be the leader of your home, right? So the more first aid training, the more tactical training, the more physical training, all the things that you can do first and foremost go to bettering you to lead your first ministry, which is your home, your marriage, on all those things play into it. It gives you more confidence. It makes you'll be able to walk into a room and assess. The more knowledge and the more understanding you have, the better you can observe the situation that's happening around you. You're like, okay, this is escalating. This is de-escalating. I know how to de-escalate this. All that is just training that's available. And it's our due diligence to do it as men, particularly, to be able to, first of all, protect our family and our kids. And then second of all, to protect those around us who are in need. Right. Yeah. Go right ahead. Read that scripture.
Yeah. So this is Luke 11:21. When a strong man fully armed guards his own house, his possessions are safe.
Yep.
So,
you got to protect your home, bro. No one's going to do it for you. Google the average response time of a police officer during a 911 call? It's like 7 minutes.
right.
And anyone who's done any jujitsu at all knows 7 minutes is a freaking long time. Some places of Phoenix, the response time's 14 minutes. 21 minutes. Like Field Crest Survival says all the time, you are your first response.
That's a brown belt round. 7 minutes. An adult brown belt.
Yeah. It's a long time. That's what we train, dude. At my gym, everything's 7 minutes, bro. 7-minute rounds. And I'm a blue belt getting my face smashed into the ground by a very, very seasoned brown belt, such as Pierre. If you ever listen to this, you're very mean. You're a bully, but I like you. And he did text me today if I was going to night class. But
Mr. Marcos,
and he likes to ask questions about you while he's in the process of submitting me. So that's always fun. And he's like, "Why are you laughing?" Yeah. I'm like, "Because I know it's coming and I can't stop it. You're about to take my arm off." Okay. And then I'm like, "Oh, look at the clock. Oh my God, I still have
4.5 minutes
left.
And that's why like I'm glad that you started training again. Not that because you wouldn't necessarily forget it. But I think so one of the things that a lot of people don't understand is that the cardio that you get from rolling is not the same as like running or CrossFit or, maybe CrossFit a little bit. But
no.
not nearly as long. And so that's kind of something that I want. I mean, it's really hard to get across. So I always invite dudes from the safety team. Like there's a guy on our safety team. His name's George. He's an ICE agent. And I always tell him like, "Hey dude," I was like, "if you want to come train, come train." And there's no requirements for it. Like you don't have to I'll just train with you. Like we'll go in on a Saturday or Sunday after church or whatever. And I'll do specific law enforcement training with you or whatever. And, I think it's super important, especially if you're older. And the reason being is because so for me, there are a lot of dudes who are younger than me, who are faster. I work out, so I'm strong, and I train. So my cardio is not terrible, but the age is a factor always. And, if there's a younger dude who is wanting to get crazy, then, I know that I have the ability to at least stop them from moving freely for an extended period of time. Right. I usually practice on guard, or, underside or whatever. And so if for anyone who doesn't know what I'm talking about, they're like, "I don't know what you're talking about, on guard or underside." So basically what I'm saying is I usually practice rounds from the bottom, from a point of not in dominance. Holy crap, dude. This is really driving me crazy. So I practice in those positions of not good, that are not necessarily good positions, and try to protect myself. And then and then use it, and then get up on top, and then, or, submit or whatever, try to tire them down, whatever it is. And in all these situations, I'm kind of practicing, because I know that if I get on top, I can get on mount and then stop them from moving. But my goal is to let's say I'm in a bad situation and I have to, I don't know, let's say I fall down or something like that, and the dude's coming at me, and I'm like on my butt and I'm doing butt scoots and I got my hand up protecting myself, and I don't need to um, draw. Like if like they don't have a weapon or anything, there's no justification for me to pull my pistol, right? So I need to be
Yep.
able to protect
Yep.
myself from someone who is in a superior position, and that's like where my mindset is at.
Mhm.
I'm not a competitor. I don't plan on competing anytime soon. So that's kind of where I'm at. I want it to be realistic,
Yeah.
and so that's kind of why I do gi and no gi also, and
Yeah.
it helps a lot.
And part of even that whole process of training jujitsu, you have like adrenaline dumps, you have all the hormonal responses to an altercation. And even when you feel like your breathing is interrupted, most people panic.
Oh yeah,
And in jujitsu, you have to learn how to quiet your mind, how to calm down, when to rest. Because half of that, like you could take a triathlete and put him in a 7-minute round, and 3 minutes in, dude is gassed because he's using all
Yep.
his strength, all his might continuously for 3 minutes. Whereas the dude that knows jujitsu and knows when to rest knows certain positions.
yeah,
I'm chilling. Like if I got you in side control, which is grabbing you of energy, that for me is a position in which I'm resting, and knowing when to rest and training your mind to do so. Be patient under pressure and to be calm. And that part of the training in jiu-jitsu is knowing when to be calm, and to know when to be aggressive and push the pace, attack, and then rest. And knowing that process is training your mind how to do that. And being capable of violence is true. So everyone's heard the scripture, the meek shall inherit the earth, right? And a lot of times meek is just a bad translation. I sent you a clip earlier last week, and the clip really was talking about meek. The way meek is translated in the Bible is a poor translation of what meek means. A lot of times we think meek as like weak, incapable, soft-spoken, kind of a gentle person. But what meek really means in that context of the meek shall inherit the earth is better translated. Those who know how to use their swords but keep them sheathed will inherit the earth. All through the Old Testament, God commands his people to, at certain points, exterminate entire races, entire people groups. And he calls us to be capable of violence, but choose to operate in peace. And I can't remember exactly how it was spoken, but what keeps people at bay, right? Like if someone who's proficient in firearms, who trains a martial art, there's the way you hold yourself is different. Like, yeah, you can come at me, but you're going to end up with a shattered orbital bone, or I'm going to break your arm. And like, obviously they teach you to de-escalate. The goal would be to get the person that's aggressing, if there's no weapons involved, into a position in which they can't get out of. And then, dude, I don't want to hurt you, but you're going to force me to hurt you. That's entirely different than I fly off the handle and just beat this dude's face in. And all of a sudden there's a bloody mess. And now there's a police report. Being capable of violence is what keeps evil men at bay. Okay. What keeps evil isn't the fact that, God's people are just these pushover people. What keeps evil away is a capable good guy. Is someone that's capable of extreme, concise violence, which is what Tim Kennedy says. Like scorched earth, everything you own and burn to the ground, scorched earth. And then on the transverse side of that is his kids will never understand the level of violence he is capable of by how gentle and kind he is to them. That's how men of God should be. We should be capable of scorched earth, extreme violence, but our children will only know gentleness and kindness. That doesn't mean the ability is gone. It's choosing when and where we take that ability and put that into actionable ability. Having the ability to be extremely violent is the balance that keeps evil from overtaking. You know, the only way to stop a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun. And all these people are like, oh, I'll just call the police. No, you won't, dude. Because by the time you make that phone call, even if you have time to pick up your cell phone, the crime's already been committed. You're hurt or dead, or your family's in jeopardy.
Right.
Bro, you are your first response. As men, that is our job. Be capable of violence in order to keep our family and the ones that we love safe. Period. That's how this whole thing needs to pan out. We have to be capable of extreme violence if the time comes. And having already counted the responsibility of that within yourself, I have made a decision. I carry a gun because I've counted every possible outcome and accepted the responsibility. If this thing comes out of its holster, someone is going to meet the creator. Okay. That I have accepted that responsibility, but I've accepted that responsibility as a way to protect my wife, my children, my parents, my brother, my sisters, like all of them. I've made that decision. And I really took some time before God, like, you know, kind of even with like what we had talked about a couple of weeks ago. You're like, what's the, you know, it says we shouldn't murder, but like what's going, there's a difference between cold-hearted murder and killing someone in the defense of yourself. That's not murder. Okay. That is taking a human life that you've counted the cost of. It's not cold-blooded, like Jeffrey Dahmer style, where I'm just a serial killer because I'm cannibal. Okay. That is what they're talking about. But being able to respond appropriately and having the discernment and the wisdom to know, and obviously state laws goes back into that, what is an acceptable use of force, and knowing all that and being prompted, but being capable to the exact, to the furthest possible outcome would be to take a human life. You need to be able and counted that as a responsibility before you ever put a gun on your waist.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's very, it's understanding like what, so you have to understand like what is justifiable. And you have to look at the laws and kind of like practice. I don't know if like if practice would be the word, but you have to understand what the laws are and be able to like understand them to the level where you're able to implement the practice of that knowledge in a stressful situation. So the main thing, I know like here in Arizona are basically the same thing as far as laws go. And the justification is protection of imminent death or threat of bodily injury. So basically anything from someone coming at me with a knife, or I would have to say maybe 2 or more guys coming at me that I'm, you know, in fear of my life. And that's one of the reasons why I started jiu-jitsu too, is that I didn't want to be put into a situation where I drew my gun and shot at someone or shot someone, and then they go to court and they're like, well, you're, you know, 5'10", 200 something pounds, you're a combat vet and blah, blah, blah. Why don't you just fight them? And I'm like, I didn't want to be where I was in a position that I'd say, I don't know how to fight. Because before I started doing jiu-jitsu, I had no idea how to fight or at all. And I didn't want, and like at that point, they'd be like, okay, like you're in the army for this long, you don't know how to fight. So I just didn't want to be put in that position. And ultimately, I wanted to, you know, be better. And so in any instance, we're in the use of deadly force for Arizona and Idaho and a lot of states that are fairly ish pro Second Amendment is, you know, life, limb, or eyesight kind of a thing. And I'm like 3.
Yeah, like you missed that, bro. But yeah,
And
for real, and knowing that, and I feel like that was extreme use of wisdom in that too, because now you've just added another layer that you have before you get to drawing the weapon, right? Like
Yeah.
if you're comfortable with defending yourself with your hands and your feet, like you said before, I'm confident in my ability to handle someone who doesn't have a weapon. That is a whole nother level of insurance that you don't have to get to the highest tier, which is unholstering and using your weapon, because that would be the worst, right? Like unholstering a weapon and using it, and then like what you said in the court, well, why didn't you do X, Y, and Z? Did you have
Right.
this in your pocket? You could have done this way. Well, now you're just guilty of manslaughter or worse, right?
Yep.
It's our responsibility to seek out the training. Yes, jiu-jitsu can be somewhat costly, but you're investing in a skill set that doesn't diminish. Okay. Like, yes, your skills get rusty. Like you said before, you don't forget jiu-jitsu. It might take a minute for like the sequences of where where your grips go, how this thing works to get back into the groove of jiu-jitsu. But once you learn technique, like that's hardwired into your brain now. And that skill set is an attribute that is a level of safety for you in the eyes of legality, and also gives you the ability to handle something without jumping to a use of deadly force situation.
Right. Yep.
It's just everyone should just train jiu-jitsu, and the whole world would be a better place, honestly. I mean, honestly, like I have never met a dude that shows up to the gym having a terrible day and leaves the mat in the same mindset and mentality.
Well, the problem is
Situations
that
haven't
not a lot of
changed.
people can handle jiu-jitsu. Like a lot of people can't handle the constant
true.
getting beat up or the failure for so long before they're able to
Yes.
know how to do anything. So the learning curve
Yeah.
is so significant. We just, the attrition is so high. So just before we kind of end this, I wanted to read this Acts 20, 28 through 30. So this one I think kind of encompasses everything that we just talked about. And it's keep watch over yourselves and all the flock of which Holy Spirit has made you overseers. Be shepherd of the church of God, which he bought with his own blood. I know that after I leave, savage wolves will come in among you, and you will not spare and will not spare the flock. Even from your own number, men will arise and distort the truth in order to draw away disciples after them. So that's Acts 20, verses 28 through 30.
Yep.
And it just kind of tells me that Jesus knows, like, I believe this is probably in red because it sounds like it's in red. Maybe.
That may, it was in Acts.
Maybe, probably not then.
Probably not, but it might be a quote or directed from a teaching. You know what I mean? Let me.
Yeah, well, we got 20.
I bring it up.
Who does that? Paul? Paul, right? Paul did Acts?
I believe he did, yes. Let me find out.
Yeah, it's Paul. Paul means Ephesian leaders. So that's from Paul. Oh, and I already had it highlighted on my Bible app as well. Yeah, so it just kind of tells you, like, the evil is out there. Just because you're a Christian and you go to church and you do what the best that you can to be a good practicing Christian does not mean that evil isn't going to happen, and it does not mean that you can be complacent and kind of just be like, oh well, Jesus is going to protect me. Yeah, you get protected, but from Satan, not from people on earth.
The fallen, the fallen world,
keep that in mind. It's not something that you can kind of just let go to the wayside. So
100%.
All right.
Hey,
so
that was dope. I like talking about this stuff. Yeah, I got to go train jiu-jitsu now, dude.
What time is your class?
4:15.
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
So,
Wednesdays is the only one that's super early. Otherwise, it's 6:30.
oh, well then.
But now
Well then.
Jaren's
All right.
training, and he's apparently signed us up for 3 classes. He's like, I'm going to do no-gi, and then I'm going to do my class, and I'm going to do the white belt class. I'm like, okay, buddy, let's
The
do
same
it.
day?
Yeah, he wants to do 3 tonight. So the 4:15, 4:15, and his class is 5:30 to 6:30, and then 6:30 to 8. So he's going to do like 3 something hours of jiu-jitsu.
Dang.
You got it bit. Let's pray real quick, y'all. Thank you for listening to the God, Guns, and Family podcast. Find us on all platforms, God, Guns, and Family podcast. Email us, man. Any questions, thoughts you want to talk about at, God, Guns, and Family podcast at gmail.com. Do it like Nike. But let's pray before we get out of here. Jesus, we just thank you for the privilege and honor it is, and the wisdom and understanding to pursue you in all fronts, Lord. And that means to also be a protector of our family, our friends, our people we love. So, Lord, I pray that every single person that hears this, God, is just spurred to action within their own lives, and to be more wise and to be cunning, and just to have the understanding, Lord, that you can provide, Lord. So I pray that you draw us closer, you deepen our understanding, our wisdom, our knowledge, our discernment. It's all for your glory, Lord. So that we can be a better steward of the gift that you've given us, which is life and life eternally into the full, Lord. So we surrender to you and give you all the glory in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Amens.
All right,
Catch you guys later. Later, guys.
Y'all take it easy.
Take it easy. I can't sing. Bye. Love you.
Bye.